Right now, there are dealer lots where the vans have been sitting so long, the tires have developed flat spots. You will find them at the back, in the corner, nobody photographs for the website. Trucks are still moving, crossovers are still moving, but the vans are not moving at all, so dealers are cutting prices and eating the loss. Today, I am walking you through 15 of them, why each one collapsed, and the 3 questions to ask before you hand over a dollar. Number 1 was a $40,000 family vehicle. Today, it trades for less than a decent riding mower. First, 30 seconds on why this is happening, because the reason is what protects you from buying a bad one. When a dealer puts a van on his lot, he borrows the money to do it. That loan is called floor plan financing, and he pays interest every single day the van does not sell. Cox Automotive had used supply running well above dealer comfort this spring, with off-lease returns climbing and residual values near a 5-year low. A van sitting at 90 days is not an asset on his books. It is a bill arriving every morning. Demand collapsed from the other side at the same time. The American family decided it would rather sit in traffic in something that looks like an SUV than something that admits it carries children. So manufacturers killed minivan nameplates one by one. Meanwhile, courier companies and contractors bought cargo vans as fast as the factories could build them. And when the contracts got trimmed, thousands went to auction with nobody waiting. Low demand does not mean low quality. Most of these use engines and transmissions shared with trucks and sedans that sold in the millions. I am ranking these by how far each has fallen, not by sticker price. Prices are what I am seeing this summer. Number 15, the Chevrolet Uplander and the Pontiac Montana SV6, model years 2005 through 2009. Somebody at General Motors decided a minivan would sell better if it looked like an SUV, so they stretched the nose and raised the hood line, and it fooled nobody. Pontiac is gone now. The Uplander name is gone. Underneath is an ordinary minivan with a pushrod V6 that General Motors installed in millions of vehicles, and any small-town mechanic can work on one with his eyes closed. These trade for $2,000 to $4,000 running, and the dealer who took one in on trade wants it gone within days. Do not expect refinement. Do expect an engine that is difficult to kill. Check for intake manifold gasket leaks and corroded rear brake lines. That one is cheap because General Motors stopped caring. The next is cheap for the opposite reason. Number 14, the Kia Sedona, model years 2015 through 2021. The Sedona was a good van, quiet on the highway, comfortable seats, a smooth V6, one of the strongest warranties anybody offered. Nobody bought it because in 2015 the phrase Kia minivan did not make anyone reach for their wallet. Then Kia retired the name for the Carnival, and the moment a nameplate disappears, the used market treats it like a clearance shelf item. Buyers assume parts will become a problem, and that assumption is wrong. The running gear is shared with Hyundai and Kia crossovers still on every road in America. Higher mileage examples show up between $6,000 and $9,000, and dealers take less because these do not generate a phone call in a month. Cycle both sliding doors several times to test the motors. Check the rear air conditioning lines underneath and the front suspension bushings. If a dead badge knocks thousands off a good van, watch what happens when the van was strange looking as well. Number 13, the Nissan Quest, model years 2011 through 2016. Squared off and upright with a slab-sided rear end and a rear window that did not roll down, the Quest looked like a Japanese domestic market van dropped onto an American dealer lot by mistake. Nissan pulled it from North America. Then the continuously variable transmission developed a reputation for early failure, and the used market gave up completely. The third row drops into a deep well instead of folding upward, giving it one of the flattest cargo floors in the class. For hauling, that matters more than almost anything. They sit at $4,000 to $7,000 with dealers openly negotiating. Now, the transmission. Insist on a fluid service record, then drive it up a long hill at highway speed listening for a whine. A healthy one runs a long time, a neglected one empties your wallet. That van was unloved because of engineering. This next one is the strangest vehicle on the list. Number 12, the Volkswagen Rutan, model years 2009 through 2013. Volkswagen wanted a minivan for America. Rather than build one, they bought Chrysler minivans off the line in Windsor, Ontario, retuned the suspension, put a Volkswagen badge on the grille, and sold them as a German product. The Volkswagen buyer walked in wanting German engineering and found a Dodge. The Chrysler buyer could get the identical van 2 miles down the road for less. It sold in tiny numbers before Volkswagen withdrew it. Today, clean ones sit at $3,000 to $5,000, and dealers take almost anything. Underneath it is a Chrysler, so every part is at every auto parts store in America. You are buying a Chrysler in a costume, and the costume is the entire reason it is cheap, which is strange enough. Number 11 is cheap for a reason that is almost entirely imaginary. Number 11, the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, model years 2017 through 2019. This was impressive and expensive when it arrived. A plug-in hybrid minivan with enough electric range to handle a grocery run without burning a drop of fuel, wearing a sticker north of $40,000. Today, early examples turn up in the low to mid-teens, and rough ones dip below 10,000. The reason is one word, and that word is battery. Buyers hear plug-in hybrid attached to a vehicle closing in on a decade old, and they picture a repair bill with 5 digits in it. So these end up near the fence line with a fresh price sticker every few weeks. If you drive short distances and can plug in at home, this is one of the cheapest ways in America to stop buying gasoline. Have the battery health checked at a Chrysler service department first. That inspection costs a fraction of what the fear is costing the seller. Those 5 are family vans. The next 4 move this list into work territory, and that is where the losses are biggest. Number 10, the Nissan NV200 and its badge-engineered twin, the Chevrolet City Express. The Nissan ran from 2013 through 2021. The Chevrolet from 2015 through 2018. These two are the same vehicle. Nissan built the van, Chevrolet put a bow tie on the grille, and both nameplates are dead. New York City chose the NV200 as its official taxi, so thousands spent years idling in Manhattan traffic. Fleet operators loved it because the 4-cylinder engine is about as complicated as a lawn tractor. Dealers list these at $4,000 to $7,000 and quietly accept less, because a work van with a dead nameplate brings nobody into a showroom. The interior is Spartan, and in exchange, you get around 24 miles per gallon and a cargo bay that swallows a sheet of plywood flat on the floor. Check the transmission service history, then look hard at the rear floor and sills for rust if it came from a salt state. $8,000. That is what number 9 costs, and almost nobody in America knows what it actually is. Number 9, the Ram ProMaster City, model years 2015 through 2022. Underneath the Ram badge, this is a Fiat Doblo, sold across Europe for decades and refined the entire time. It has the widest cargo area in the compact class, and a load floor low enough to step into rather than climb into, which matters a great deal more at 65 than it does at 30. Ram discontinued it here and prices fell immediately. Clean examples sit at $8,000 to $12,000, and higher mileage fleet units drop well below that. Buyers avoid it because they hear Fiat and picture a parts problem. The 9-speed automatic and the 4-cylinder are shared with the Jeep Cherokee and the Chrysler 200, both of which sold in huge volume here. On the test drive, watch how the transmission behaves at low speed. That 9-speed hunts between gears if the software was never updated, and a dealer can flash it in an afternoon. Make him do it before you buy. Number 8 is the one I would put my own money into. Number 8, the Ford Transit Connect, model years 2014 through 2019. This is a compact van built on a car platform, so it drives and parks like a small sedan and returns fuel economy no full-size van can approach. Plumbers, florists, and small delivery companies bought them by the thousand. Then Ford stopped selling it here, and every one of those fleet vans came back to auction at once. Cargo versions with 130,000 miles turn up at $5,000 to $8,000, and passenger versions with rear seats and windows are only slightly more. For somebody who wants a lockable, weatherproof, easy-to-park vehicle for tools, dogs, or camping gear, and who does not want to feed a V8 to do it, this is the buy on this entire list. Ask for the timing belt service history, because that engine uses a belt rather than a chain and the interval is real. Then look closely at the rear door hinges and the load floor, because fleet vans get abused by people who do not own them. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. I go through the used market like this every week, and the 7 vans left are the ones with the most metal for the money. Now, the badge that scares people off the best driving van on the lot. Number 7, the Mercedes-Benz Metris, model years 2016 through 2023. I will be honest with you, I would think hard before buying this one, and I know people who will argue with me about that. Mercedes brought its mid-size European van to America, sold it 8 years, then pulled it, and values dropped like a stone. The problem is the star on the grille. It tells the average buyer the maintenance bills will be brutal, and that fear is partly justified. The engineering manufacturing is straightforward. A turbocharged four-cylinder and a proven automatic Mercedes used across its lineup. The labor rate behind that badge is not, and your local independent shop may not want to touch it. High mileage fleet and shuttle examples appear at $9,000 to $14,000. Frequently, the nicest driving vans on any lot in town. Have a European specialist inspect it and confirm regular oil changes on the record. A mattress maintained on schedule runs a very long time. One that was not is exactly the horror story people fear. Now let me get to the American Iron, starting with a van whose reputation is worse than it deserves. Number 6. The Ford Freestar and the Mercury Monterey, model years 2004 through 2007. The Freestar replaced the Ford Windstar and inherited every bit of that van's damaged reputation. The Windstar had documented transmission and rear axle problems, and buyers assumed the replacement would be the same. Ford improved the vehicle and never repaired the perception. Sales were dismal, and Ford quietly exited the minivan business for good. What is left is a big, quiet highway van selling for $1,500 to $3,000 at dealers who want it gone by the weekend. At that price, you are nearly buying it by the pound. I would not drive one across the country. As a local hauler for a man who refuses to spend real money, it is hard to beat. Have the transmission inspected by somebody who knows Fords, and check the rear axle for corrosion, because that was a documented problem on this family of vehicles. That is, the bottom of the family van market. Now, we move into full-size territory, where the discounts get serious. Number 5, a 5.6-liter V8 out of a Nissan Titan pickup in a van. Number 5, the Nissan NV Cargo, the 1500 and 2500 models from 2012 through 2021. Nissan built a full-size, body-on-frame, American-style van with a truck engine under the hood. Then it discovered that men who buy work vans buy them from Ford and Chevrolet dealers with commercial service bays and a parts counter that opens at 6 in the morning. Nissan never had that network, so production ended. The high roof option lets a grown man stand up inside without stooping, which is the entire ballgame for a camper conversion or a mobile workshop. Body-on-frame construction tolerates abuse that would bend a unibody. High mileage examples appear at $7,000 to $11,000, which is a lot of usable steel. Fuel economy is poor, around 14 miles per gallon, but if you drive fewer than 7,000 miles a year, the purchase savings cover that several times over. Check the rear leaf springs and inspect the frame rails for rust. That leads into the two vans fleet operators are dumping in the largest numbers right now. Number 4, the Chevrolet Express and GMC Savannah passenger vans, model years 2010 through 2017. Churches, hotels, airport shuttles, and senior centers bought these by the thousand, ran them a decade, and are replacing them all at once. That means 12 and 15 passenger vans hitting auctions every month with nobody standing in line. Private buyers still avoid them over rollover concerns from 20 years ago, which stability control addressed long ago. Passenger versions from 2010 to 2015 regularly sell between $6,000 and $11,000, and dealers negotiate freely because the buyer pool for a 15-passenger van in a small town is roughly 4 people. Underneath, this is essentially a Chevrolet Silverado. The 4.3-liter V6 and 5.3-liter V8 are among the most understood engines in American history. Check the brake rotors and the rear leaf spring shackles and ask for the transmission service record, because shuttle duty is hard on a transmission and easy on an odometer. Number 3, walk through any campground in the western United States and count the converted vans. A surprising number are the same thing. Number 3, the Ford E-Series Club Wagon, model years 2000 through 2014. This is the last of the traditional American van. Ford built the Econoline and E-Series with very few changes for decades, so the design got refined until almost nothing broke unexpectedly. The 4.6 and 5.4-liter V8s, the solid rear axle, and the ladder frame can all be serviced without special tools. Passenger versions in decent condition trade between $3,000 and $8,000. Camper builders and small contractors have been quietly buying these for years because it is simple, it is strong, and there is no dashboard screen that will fail at year 12 and cost $2,000. Check the exhaust manifold bolts, which snap, and ask about the spark plug threads on the 3-valve 5.4 engine. Then check the floor pans and rocker panels. Rust is what ends these vans. The engine will outlive the body by a decade. That brings us to the final two, where the fall has been steepest. Number 2, the Dodge Grand Caravan, model years 2015 through 2020. For years, this was the best-selling minivan in America, and an enormous share of it went into rental fleets. Rental companies bought them by the tens of thousands, ran them 3 years, and sent everyone to auction. That flood never stopped, and dealers still take them in on trade constantly because everybody had one. Clean examples with reasonable mileage sit between $4,000 and $8,000, and higher mileage ones drop into the low threes. What you get is stow-and-go seating, which folds the second and third rows flat into the floor with one hand. Nothing else at this price does that. You also get the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 that Chrysler installed in almost everything it built for a decade, so parts are cheap and every shop knows it. Have the transmission fluid checked and inspect the front lower control arm bushings, which wear out fast on rental duty. Then negotiate hard, because the dealer has been sitting on it for months and he knows it. And number 1, the steepest fall on this entire list. Number 1, the Chrysler Town and Country, model years 2011 through 2016. This was the loaded one. Leather seats, heated front and rear seating, a power lift gate, rear entertainment screens for the grandchildren, navigation, and a sticker past $40,000. This is what a family bought when they wanted the nicest van on the street. Today, those same vans sell for $3,000 to $7,000, and dealers frequently list them below $4,000. Chrysler consolidated everything into the Pacifica, and the badge vanished. The minivan market shrank around it, and loaded vehicles always fall hardest because equipment that costs thousands new is worth nothing to a used buyer and frightens him with repair bills. Mechanically, it shares the V6 and running gear with the Grand Caravan, so servicing costs nothing unusual. You are simply getting all the equipment for the same money. Cycle the power sliding doors and the lift gate several times, because those motors are the expensive failure here. Then check the transmission fluid and the front suspension. A well-kept one will run past 200,000 miles, so those are the 15. Now the 3 questions I promised, because the price is only half of what you are buying. The first question is how long that specific van has been on the lot. Ask the salesperson for the days in inventory number. Anything over 60 days means the dealership is paying interest daily and the manager wants it gone. Anything over 90 and you control the negotiation, not him. The second question is about the transmission and the maintenance record. On every van on this list, the engine is not what ends its life. The transmission is, the sliding door hardware is, and rust is. Ask for service records. If there are none, budget $600 for a fluid service and an inspection on a lift, and take that off your offer. The third question is the one most buyers never ask. Ask what the dealership paid for it. He will usually refuse, and the way he refuses tells you plenty. On timing, the last 3 days of any month are when sales managers get desperate to hit volume targets, and the last week of a quarter is stronger. Autumn and early winter are when van inventory piles highest, because families shop in spring and nobody shops for a work van in December. One more thing, and it may be worth more than everything else. Arrange financing at your own bank or credit union before you walk in, or pay cash. On a vehicle this cheap, the real profit is in the finance office, and taking that off the table makes the price conversation honest very quickly. So now you know which 15 vans have collapsed, why each one collapsed, and how to use a dealer's own floor plan bill against him. If you want to see which used vehicles I would not touch at any price, that video is on screen right now. Click it before you go shopping.